Hey, welcome back. I am so grateful that you're here, truly. And thank you for your ongoing messages, your reflections, your presence in this space. I know that this space touches something deep inside of me, and it means the world when you reflect that back to me and it touches something in you too. So thank you. It really means more than I can say. So, with this month of February and still reflecting on things like love and romance and intimacy and pleasure, I just wanted to continue that reflection on pleasure specifically. I know last time we talked about being the greatest love of your life and being in love with yourself, but not from like a narcissistic way, from a way that honors the sacredness of your life, that is like fully present and open to enjoying and savoring it. And so today I just want to take the time to just focus on pleasure and offer a contemplation on pleasure, but not the kind that we usually think of, not like an indulgence, not an escape, not even like happiness in the conventional sense. I want to talk about pleasure as presence, as meaning, as choice. And I want to begin with something small that was the impetus, like that was the background of this contemplation. I've shared before many times that I myself have coaches and mentors. And so in those spaces of human service, right? You're a client, you're a consumer, you're a customer. And so sometimes you wonder if like the service is transactional. And there's this unspoken culture of the customer's always right. It's my pleasure to serve you. But one of my mentors, I noticed something was like really interesting. Every single interaction, every client, every conversation, she would complete it with total sincerity after the person thanked her and say, "It is my absolute pleasure." And this wasn't in a way to perform. This wasn't like occasionally. This was every single conversation, every interaction, every time. And it got me thinking like, dang, how can someone say that so often and really mean it? And if that's possible, why don't I? Should I be? Or do I want to be? Or what do I think about that? So I gave myself a little experiment where for 1 week, I would intentionally like have this in my mind and respond to people, things around me with, "It is my pleasure." Whether that's at home, at work, whatever, wherever. So whether that's like, at work, maybe it would be after seeing a patient, talking to a family, teaching a student, brainstorming with a colleague. And at home, instead of saying, "It is my pleasure" with my children, I'd say something similar. I'd say in Spanish, "con amor y alegría," with love and with joy, which to me is kind of the same as like with pleasure. And I will say that I felt it that week. And it's something that now is a part of my practice. And something that I ended up then like wondering why is this working? How is it working? I did some research on it and I brought this contemplation to this space because something did shift in me. And I just want to back up to a moment to like where we are unintentionally, unconsciously, like when someone thanks you, what do we usually say? "Oh, no problem. It's nothing. Anytime. It's just my job." And if we're like really begrudging, well, I had to. It's my job, like with that kind of tone. So let's contemplate this. Because when we're speaking to someone else, we're not just speaking to them. Our brain is also listening to ourselves as we speak. And so when we minimize, dismiss, or reduce our own contribution, we send ourselves a message that this doesn't matter. I didn't choose this. This is an obligation. And over time, that language matters and the language starts to drain meaning from our lives. Now think about this. So many of the things we now, today, call routine, they were once our dreams. This career, this role, this opportunity to serve, this relationship, this responsibility that we prayed for at one point in our life is now an obligation. At one point, we would have said, "I'll do anything. I don't care how hard it is. Just give me the chance." And now that we're living it, no big deal. It doesn't matter. It's just my job. Kind of striking, right? So when I was researching for this contemplation, like psychologists have a name for this. They call it hedonic adaptation. I hope I'm even saying that right. But it's a term that describes how humans become insensitive to new stimuli. And we just quickly readjust to our baseline, like emotional baseline. So we have a tendency to normalize even the most meaningful gains. Like that first bite of something and it's so tasty and it makes you so happy. And by the end of the meal, you're like used to it. It's not quite as delicious. You're not quite as like, thrilled by it. Not because it lacks value, but because we just stopped noticing. And so when we forget that we are living yesterday's answered prayer, yesterday's dream, we replace that gratitude with obligation. We replace our devotion with duty. And I think this is where the science gets really interesting. And again, as always, I will put these articles in the show notes, the citations. But research in positive psychology distinguishes between two forms of well-being. Hedonic well-being, which is like pleasure, comfort, enjoyment, and eudaimonic well-being, meaning engagement, growth, contribution. Why do I think this is interesting? Because pleasure feels so good in the moment, but it is fleeting. And meaning sustains us. And where do we make our meaning? As you know from being in this space, thought work, emotional work, which is always with us. Awareness, agency, always with us. So no matter how fleeting the pleasure is, we have the ability to create that sustainable satisfaction. Studies show that people who orient their lives around meaning and engagement, rather than just purpose alone, so not saying purpose doesn't have a place, but when purpose is supplemented with meaning and engagement, that they have greater work satisfaction, better performance, more resilience during stress, longer lasting well-being. So this means that fulfillment, satisfaction doesn't come from everything being easy. It comes from it being worthwhile. So when you say, like, it is my absolute pleasure, you're not pretending the work is easy. You're acknowledging this matters. I chose this. I am participating in this, and it means something to me. It's not philosophical. Neuroscience shows that meaning-oriented states engage different brain networks than just pleasure alone. And this is particularly in the areas of our brain that hold our long-term goals, our values, how we refer to ourselves. So when we frame our actions as chosen rather than forced, the nervous system responds differently. Obligation makes us feel threatened, and that depletes our energy because we're on like survival mode. We're using up the energy. Meaning, it gives us energy back. It redirects the energy. And to continue to go back on our constant theme of the me and the we, us and our community, like, let me just add that pleasure is not just personal. It makes ripples. When you honor your own pleasure, your own meaning, you elevate everyone around you. Think about the way that you show up in a meeting. Think about the way you speak to a patient, a colleague, a child, a student, when you're doing it from pleasure, from meaning, from choosing this, from wanting to be here, from wanting to do this. You're completely engaged, you're present. That is felt. The way you move through tasks, big or small, each choice reverberates our energy and our pleasure as the present moment of yes becomes contagious. Imagine, like, you give yourself that permission to go, yes, all in on this. I want to enjoy this moment. And then imagine your friends, your colleagues, your community, like, yes, I want to too. Just because you said it, you decided it, you embodied it, you refused to minimize your contribution. Like, that's also reciprocity. In this way, pleasure in the setting of meaning making and agency is not selfish. It multiplies. And the more fully you inhabit your life, the more life multiplies in response to you. Well, let's even just get physical for a moment. Thinking about space. I want you to pause and just take a deep breath. And put your hand on your heart if you're able to. And if not, that's okay. You can just feel your heart, feel yourself, be connected to yourself. Notice how you feel if I were to thank you for whatever, for putting away the dishes, for answering my question, for helping me with something. It doesn't matter. I'm thanking you for something, right? Before you say, it's nothing, before you minimize it, dismiss it, qualify your effort, just pause and just try saying this. It is my absolute pleasure, or it is my pleasure, or whatever. It doesn't have to be those exact words, just something that gives you that same sensation. For the sake of this exercise, just use these words for now. It is my pleasure. Say them slowly, say them meaningfully. Let the words land in your body. Feel the joy of your presence, the truth that this is your life to participate in fully. Try it a second time. It is my absolute pleasure. Ooh, do you feel that subtle shift? Like that softening, or maybe that like ignition? Like our nervous system is even resetting. That is pleasure as power. That is a life reclaimed. That is a beautiful vision for your life. When you practice pleasure as presence, as choice, as meaning, you're improving your life. You're rewiring your experiences, your nervous system. And now beyond you, you're teaching your children, your colleagues, your partners, your community, what it looks like and feels like to live with that joy, with that agency. You're creating a ripple of presence, of love, of reciprocity. Just that small action. You didn't do much, but you did a lot. Acknowledged it. You received the moment. And then you multiplied it. You know, that's impact through presence. So I just want to leave you with an invitation this week instead of our weekly questions. For the next week, just try this as an experiment. It can be once a day. It can be all throughout the day, as much as you want to. Just pause before responding automatically. Don't minimize. Don't dismiss. Don't qualify your effort, your contribution. Don't rush to be humble or to neutralize your effort. Can you stand with it? Honor it. Honor all that you had to do to be able to make that effort. All that you had to become to be able to make that effort today. That one day, long ago, you were like dreaming of being the person that could do this thing. And now you can do this thing, even if it is putting away the dishes for someone else. There was a day you were dreaming that you would have someone to put away the dishes for. It is my absolute pleasure. Or whatever that phrase is for you. Con amor y alegría. Say it slowly. Say it consciously. Say it as both a remembering and an honoring. Say it to reconnect with a version of yourself who once dreamed of this life. Notice the effect on your body, on your mind, on your heart. Let it touch you. Let it touch the people around you. And this isn't about pretending like everything is joyful, nothing is hard, everything is easy, everything is fair. That's not what this is. This is remembering and reconnecting that some things are sacred, and that sacredness is your entry point into meaning, into agency, into presence, into pleasure. The pleasure of your life. It's yours. Claim your presence. Claim your contribution. Claim your pleasure. The pleasure of your life. Your sacred participation with life. Step fully into it. Fully into the pleasure, fully into the meaning, fully into your life. And allow everything you touch, everything you give, everything you become to be amplified. Just by choosing that, it will be multiplied. Let it ripple outward. That is your homework, my friends. Wishing you play, possibility, and peace. Wishing you to feel so supported in this space. And I am so honored to be a part of your soul tribe. Con amor y alegría. I'll see you next week. Bye.